Next, you'll be tasked with inserting weather data into the database, but we'll be doing this in a more efficient way than just one day at a time, since there's always a week or so of data to display. Instead of one insert at a time, we'll be doing a bulk insert, which basically tries to insert an array of content values, not just one set, into a database. It will respond to the URI that identifies the directory of weather data, and then iterate through the array of values and insert each one. To write a bulk insert, we'll override the bulk insert method in the weather provider class. This method takes in a URI and an array of content values, and it returns the number of values inserted. The bulk insert will start with the same database accessing and URI match code that you've seen before. And this time, inside our weather directory case, it will also include a database transaction. A transaction is a way to mark the start and end of a large data transfer. So you'll want to start a transaction, then try to do all your inserts, and finally end the transaction. So here we begin the transaction and also initialize the number of rows inserted to 0. To try inserting and then end the transaction, we'll use a try statement to do our inserts, and then something called a finally block of code, which will execute after everything in the try is complete. In the try, we'll loop through all of our content values in a for each loop. And in the loop, we'll insert each day's weather into the underlying database using db.insert. And if an insert's successful, we'll update the number of rows inserted. After this for loop is complete, we set the transaction state to be successful. And down in this finally block, we'll just end the transaction. After the finally, still in the weather directory case, we'll notify the content resolver that a change has been made to the directory URI. We'll do this with a call to notify change, and we'll also return the number of rows that were inserted. And finally, we'll want to handle the default case. In the default case, you can just return the super implementation of bulk insert. This is the implementation in Android's content provider class that this weather provider extends from. And lastly, don't forget to delete this runtime exception. And that completes an efficient bulk insert method.